Great, sir.
Good.
Wanna say hi to the residents out there?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
If you guys don't know, that's Councilman Pasaki. He's a nice guy.
Thank you. Try to just do my best.
That's all we need. So yeah, he's had the whole meeting tonight by himself. He's gonna
Adjourn.
figure out the other
Adjourn. Done. We're good. Meeting done. If that's how, if it's gonna be me, we're good. That was good coverage we did on the whole, the sheriff department. I got it.
Alright guys, I'm gonna sign off. I'll cover the meeting later and I'll go over what happened. Thanks for watching.
That was good coverage with that.
Oh, but initially,
Yeah, but
you gotta keep up with it.
that was good. You were very diligent about that, and yeah, I liked that one. That was good to watch. Well, no, really, it was good to watch because it's.
No, those gaps are because, yeah, I didn't edit the video. It wouldn't work in my editing software. I was trying, you know that old like circus music?
I do.
You just edit him running to different parts like over and over again while that music plays.
I do know what you're talking about. Matter of fact, this morning at work, just to make things a little lighter, they were talking about, safety meeting, what could happen. Somebody said slip, trips, and falls. Slide whistles. Slide whistles. It was perfect.
I do that a lot of days. I read a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah, and that's how I try to do a lot of things too, so you're realizing, because it helps just kind of, life's too short too, I just like to laugh about it much less.
It's the basic thing.
Absolutely. But I want to tell you that was very well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. Can we get a longer table? Honest to goodness, or stretch. I mean, I feel every time somebody has to come up, and I don't mind moving. I just go right to the notes.
We had with ECD. I'll share those notes. Just so that's the easiest.
That was a long call.
So you're
Every Saturday night.
No, I have other pair on.
I'm gonna share these notes with you too. This is
Yes. Good. Then we can essentially hang over. Are we able to do anything on that? I might be confusing something that Mr. John sent me an email.
I think that's a start.
I'd like to call this evening's City of Uniontown's regular City Council meeting to order October 6th, 2022. Roll call.
Mr. Billy?
Here.
Mr. Basaki?
Here.
Mr. Winfrey?
Here.
Mr. Shuhon?
Here.
Mayor Gurke?
Here. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
An executive session was held today at 4 p.m. for contract matters. Before we get to comments on agenda items only, I just have a few things to say. I always say this at every meeting, but reference the rules that we have stated on the doors concerning public comment and agenda items only. Again, we stick to 3 minutes for public comment. I understand everyone's passionate about our city, and if you weren't, you wouldn't be in this room this evening. But whenever you're speaking, respect other people, and everyone will get a chance to speak. One person speaking at a time. Please don't speak while someone else is speaking. Everyone will get a turn. When approaching the podium, I will grant you time to do that, and then you'll be able to speak. In the event someone is speaking out of turn, I will ask them to refrain and if you continue, I'll have to ask you to excuse yourself. I plan on conducting an orderly meeting this evening with your cooperation. Thank you. Comments on agenda items only? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is this timed or no?
Is it timed? It's timed. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, it is.
It is timed? Is this a new policy? I don't remember them being timed before.
It is, Tim.
So they are, unless it's something that's specifically being presented to council, like an application or something like that that's on the agenda, the applicant can typically present, and then it's not timed because it functions as a hearing. If it's just general public comment, it would be timed at the 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll have to go back through the previous meetings to double check what you just told me, Mr. Witt. So my first comment is on agenda item 283, the police report. We okayed a police vehicle last meeting, and I have a question. If you could pause my time, that'd be great. But the question is, are police vehicles public property?
So police vehicles are public property.
Awesome, that's all I need from you right now. Second question to that is it illegal to stand next to a police vehicle?
I'm not familiar with the context of the question. I think the
Is it
context-
illegal, if there's a police vehicle on a sidewalk, we're parked next to a sidewalk, and I stand next to it, is that illegal?
So also.
Yes or no? Is it illegal to stand next to public property?
The public comment.
I'm asking because this ties into the agenda.
We don't want to, we will talk about, you have the ability to present for the 3 minutes.
I can say something to that.
Go ahead.
I think it depends on what the issue is with the police department at that time. It all depends on the issue with the police department at that time. If someone needs to stand by the police car.
Can you
Is that
speak
what
up?
you're asking?
So I don't want to have to edit your comments. Can you speak up? I want to hear what you have to say without having to edit them so they're louder.
I think it depends on the situation at hand with the police department.
Okay, has nothing to do with Supreme Court rulings? Is that the official position of the city?
I'm just saying that's my suggestion.
That's your suggestion, but is that
That's just my
how the city views public property?
You can provide.
Is that it
you can
depends
provide
on
your
what the view of
comments.
the officials are at the time? I'm just trying to get clarification.
You can provide your comment for the 3 minutes. Council, to not run into anybody's time, they're going to give everybody 3 minutes. If you ask questions, council reserves the right to answer those after you're done.
Okay, so we are allowed to answer or ask questions without being interfered with. That takes me to my next item, 284, the resignation of Ms. Kutech. I am very sad to see her go. I was very excited to have somebody who is geared towards bringing things to the city, events and entertainment that would draw tax revenue and outsiders into our lovely city. It is a shame that we would rob the budget to the point where that employee would feel she is taking money for doing nothing and that she would resign. And I would also like to point out, it's a little bit hypocritical. You're telling us not to cut people off when Ms. Kutech was harassed by Mr. Billy and cut off and not allowed her public comments in violation of her First Amendment rights. And I'd like Mr. Billy to apologize in a sincere manner. He doesn't do it now because it would most certainly be forced. And my last one would be, I have a petition for the treasurer's, in regards to treasurer's report, and I'd like to submit this petition for the council to vote on, to have an ordinance to remove Ms. Marshall from her job as city clerk for incompetence and failure to provide the services to the city that we are constitutionally and state allowed to have, such as open meetings and things of that nature, open records request. And also the petition would also change the comment time from 3 to 5 minutes. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, ma'am.
I came with papers, so this is part of. Didn't make a
Thank
copy
you.
for you too.
That's okay. I'm part of.
You won't be offended.
So, what I wanted to do is come back. I'm Carmina Taylor from, am I on? I'm Carmina Taylor from the We Can't Wait Coalition. And Chief DeWitt, I have a copy right there on the table for you. I wanted you guys to see.
Ms. Taylor,
Huh?
what item?
This is in reference to his police report? That's on the agenda.
This is on agenda items only, ma'am.
Oh, that's, his police report's not on there?
So it's not, that's not an action item for council on the
For
agenda.
his report is not an
It's
agenda
it's
item?
not an action item.
Excuse me, Tim?
It's not an action item that council's taking
So that's
vote
what's
on.
before? Okay, well, give me my paper back, because I want y'all to see the time present. All right.
So to clarify, that the Sunshine Act requires public participation before a vote is taken on a specific item. So because there's no vote
So
that's taken on the
difference.
police.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair.
Thank you.
All right, I'll ask Mr. Wayne, you here to
Any other comments on agenda items only? Yes, sir.
I'm following you because I have my papers up here. He's there.
Hi, my name's Bud Griffith. I live on Wilson Avenue in town. What I want to comment real quick is on the agenda item, the 281. Guys, that's, and believe me, I apologize for my outburst a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry. My whole argument with the whole thing is, you know, I understand you have to do what you have to do, but we put a lot of sweat equity in that building before this happened. Someone knew this was going to happen. I wish somebody would have said something to us that I didn't have to read it in the paper. You know, that's a shame. We cleaned that building up, getting ready for construction, and you guys knew all along it wasn't going to happen. I would just wish somebody had told us ahead of time. You know, I understand you have to do what you have to do, and I support your efforts.
That's why they had to modify.
Buck, if I can. So I think we had a phone conversation before about this. So that did not fit
I understand.
under the qualifications
That's cool.
for that money,
Hey, something
for
else.
that grant funding.
Okay, something else. You need to do something with that building before it gets cold, because there's no heat, no water, no nothing. You're gonna lose it. It's in bad shape. I understand. I tried to call you back, Tim.
That's okay.
What number is it?
281.
Any other comments on agenda items only? Monthly report of the treasurer? That's all I have, Ms. Marshall.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to receive the report of the treasurer for the month of September 2022, be and the same is hereby received and filed. Mr. Vasaki?
I have a couple questions as the treasurer. It'd be nice, I don't know why she hasn't shown up in months, but it'd be nice if she was here, so I'm just going to accept that I received the report, so yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to accept the minutes of the September 22nd, 2022 regular council meeting. Be and the same is hereby accepted and filed. Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown, council hereby directs the Director of Accounts and Finance to make payment of the following invoices for services rendered or products procured for the City of Uniontown for September 2022 invoices in the General Fund, $55,069.66. Sewer Fund, $3,753.21. Recreation, $148.17. Highway, $12,884.50. Recycling, $829.74. Off-street, $225.46. Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to approve a refund to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program, LIWAP, mistakenly paid $25 for a City of Uniontown sewage customer. Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to authorize the purchase of 2 Sonic Wall TZ270 firewalls for use in the Church Street and Penn Street parking garages from Firewalls.com Inc. for $847.50. This would be items that are needed to operate the new parking pay stations. Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to authorize the purchase of 2 front tires for Street Department 2019 Ram 5500 from Tri-County Tire for $593.68. Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown, whereas under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development is authorized to extend financial assistance to communities for activities which will benefit low and moderate income families, aid in the elimination or prevention of slums or blight, or other urgent community development needs. And whereas the City of Uniontown receives an annual allocation of Federal Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds under Act 179 of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Department of Community and Economic Development, PADCED. And whereas the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Uniontown administers the CDBG program on behalf of the city in accordance with the cooperation agreement between the parties dated May 5, 2010. And whereas the city desires to make efficient and effective use of the federal funds in a timely manner, and whereas the city and the RACU desire to amend the program budget for program years 2019 and 2020 CDBG CV. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown, 1, that the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Uniontown is hereby authorized to submit modification request to PADCED or C000-73785 and C000075232. 2, that the mayor, on behalf of City Uniontown Council, is authorized to execute all documents related to submission of the extension request. Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes, this will help assist us with taking care of some of the blight here in town. Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to authorize an application for a local law enforcement grant program fiscal year 2022-2023 through the Pennsylvania Commonwealth on Crime and Delinquency in the amount of $326,700 for technology and personnel retention bonuses in the Uniontown Police Department, and if successful, a 2% grant writing fee to be paid to Terry Planton by the City of Uniontown. Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to approve the Police Civil Service Board recommendation to revise the rules and regulations of the Police Civil Service Rules and Regulations. Page 1, add date adopted by. Page 4, certified list of 3. Page 11, section 3.5, general qualifications. Page 14, physical agility testing. Page 15, 3.12, written examination. Page 15, 3.13, oral examination. Page 20, section 4.1, promotions. Page 20, promotions. Page 22, 4.7, written exam. Page 27, add date and sign by board. Page 28, adopted by council and signed by mayor and clerk. All above listed revisions in completion are attached here too. Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to accept the resignation of Laura Kutech, Director of Planning and Community Relations, effective August 21st, 2022. Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes, sorry to see you go, Laura. Thank you for your help. Appreciate it. Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown that based on the recommendation of the Plan Actuary, Dunbar, Bender, and Zapp, Inc., the allocation of the $378,172.98 2022 state aid for the City of Uniontown's police and fire pension plans are as follows. Police pension plan, $302,132.98. Fire pension plan, $76,040. City of Uniontown additional obligation, $43,911.02. Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes, this also assists us with making sure our fire department, police department, and our other city employees receive a pension, and when they're eligible for that. Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to authorize Mark John, Office of Community Development for the City of Uniontown, to apply for the Fayette County Hotel Tax Grant at no match to the city. Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes. On this next motion, I'd like to entertain a motion to table it.
I'll second that motion.
For
That's
resolution
287?
number
Yes.
287, Mayor Gurke made a motion to table, seconded by Mr. Billy. This is to take a vote on tabling this motion. Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to authorize the Uniontown Fire Department to seek quotes for needed repairs to the boiler at the Central Fire Station due to unit not passing the required state boiler inspection. Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown to authorize the Uniontown Fire Department to seek quotes to sell for scrap the Chevy Impala that was transferred from the Uniontown Police Department to the Fire Department. Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Monthly reports, Uniontown Fire Department.
The fire chief, he had prior engagements that he had to go to, so he had me to read his report. The Uniontown Fire Department responded to the following incidents in the month of September 2022. 8 fire-related incidents, which included 6 building fires, 1 cooking fire confined to the stove, and 1 chimney fire. 19 rescue-related incidents, with 16 being motor vehicle collisions, 1 animal rescue, and 2 pedestrians struck by a vehicle. 9 hazardous condition incidents, including 1 gas spill, 1 natural gas leak, 2 minor hazardous material incidents, 3 electrical emergencies, and 1 building collapsing.
15 service-related incidents, including 7 general public service calls, 2 assist police or other governmental agency calls, 1 cover assignment for another fire department, and 5 persons in distress. 1 smoke scares or odors of smoke, but no active fire ignition. 16 fire alarm activations. 4 witness fire drill in a public facility, which included facility staff training, pre-incident planning, and building familiarization. Training conducted or taken for the month. The department had a total of 45 man-hours of training for the month of August. Apparatus updates. We are caught up on all apparatus having PA state vehicle inspection and maintenance for the year, with the exception of 1 more due at the end of next month. Miscellaneous. The National Fire Protection Association has designated October 9th through the 15th as National Fire Prevention Week. The theme is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. Our department participates in community fire prevention programs all throughout the year, but October is a busier than usual month for us. There's a great opportunity for our personnel to be involved in community outreach and spread an department message. Personnel still continue to be involved in community events along with our outreach programs, public fire education, and pre-incident planning as well. And we have officially accepted the FEMA Assistance to the Firefighters Grant that was approved at last council meeting. This was for $165,000 total grant. Lastly, your reminder of our weekly bingo fundraiser at Social Hall every Thursday, starting at 6:45. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Winfrey. Uniontown Police Department?
You're welcome.
Mayor, Council, thank you for the votes on that grant. Just so everyone kind of understands, that grant is a technology refresher grant. The number one goal of that grant for me is going to be something I've been pushing since I took over since December 19th, I believe, and that's instituting a body cam program in the city of Uniontown. That'll be the number one purchase if we get awarded this grant. The number we're looking at, the grant we're shooting for is about $311,000. That'll refresh will give us body cams, refresh in-car cameras, tasers if that's in. They're not really sure if we can get 10 more tasers out of it. Station computers, which we'll take and proliferate to the remaining bar computers we have, clean them off and send them off to other departments that are in need of newer computers in the city.
I don't think that grant is restricted amongst other applicants.
Can't answer that, ma'am. It's all we're paying a grant writer. I'm going to continue with my report. Thank you. During the month of September, the Uniontown Police Department responded to 726 calls for service. A breakdown of some of those calls included 20 vehicle accidents, 11 assaults, 18 welfare checks, 29 domestics, 5 assist fire calls, 8 disorderly conducts, 17 emergency medical assists. One of those emergency medical assists resulted in a cardiac arrest save. One of the officers is Zach Vernell, standing in the back with Zach Vernell, Officer Zacco, Officer Rabatin, and Officer Mitros. Bystander observed cardiac arrest. EMS got on scene. Our guys got on scene, continued good CPR, and assisted EMS crews. And actually, this individual woke up, I believe, on scene, Zach, or at the hospital, and was talking again. He was in full cardiac arrest. So kudos to you for that and the guys that were on that. I'm sure that victim was extremely appreciative of that. 10 other assist police departments, 14 harassments, 2 shots fired calls. That's big. 27 alarms, 19 suspicious person activities or vehicles, 24 thefts, and 3 burglaries. Officers made a total of 31 criminal arrests, issued 22 non-traffic citations, and 51 traffic citations. Officers conducted vehicle and foot patrols in city parks as well as the Sheepskin Trail. Bailey Park looks amazing, by the way. We can see in from Pennsylvania Avenue. It's kind of nice when you're patrolling. During the last week of September, an investigation came to a conclusion after months of hard work and surveillance, as well as different types of activities we do for this. Officers executed a search warrant late at night on a residence on the lower portion of Millview Street. During the course of the incidents, officers seized a handgun as well as suspected narcotics. Multiple persons were arrested as a result of the investigation, which ranged from firearms possession charges to possession with intent to deliver narcotics. During the month of September, to currently, a little loosely with that part, Officer Campert has been extremely busy again with code. He took 32 complaints, 22 of which were corrected. That's big. That's a number we weren't used to seeing. So of the 32, 22 were corrected. He's carrying 10 cases over into October from just this month. There's still a little bit of carryover with some burnout properties that we're working on from last month. Officer Campert and I, as well as some members of council, participated in the community cleanup event, as well as members from the volunteer fire department, Laura. I'd like to thank all the volunteers, the city employees, and county hauling for participating in this event. Number one, I live in the city. It's good to keep the city cleaned up in that realm, but it also helps us mitigate some of the code enforcement problems on vacant lots with absentee landlords that we knew we wouldn't be able to get cleaned up. Not that we want to use this as a crutch, but it is a helpful thing for us to get a problem we can't get remedied right away, taken care of, and a big thanks to county hauling for taking the, about how many mattresses did we grab from the one? Yeah, we probably grabbed 100 mattresses just between our 2 trucks and trailers. So, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, again, Mayor, Council, any questions? Thank you.
Were there any
Thank you.
overdoses?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, there were 2 overdoses, one with Narcan given by officers. Thank you. I meant to mention it.
You need to put that in here, that's important. But that's lower than your last rate, so you're having less overdoses.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Director of Public Works.
Good evening, everyone. This month for the Sewage Department, they took in a total of $204,721.80, bringing this year-to-date's collection to about $1.8 million. I don't really have much to report on. We've been operating pretty smoothly here. We just recently started brush hogging all of the vacant lots in the city, and I know the city doesn't really own any of them, but we try not to just let them grow up and turn into a forest. But to my surprise, actually half of the list was already cut. I don't know if those were some of the redevelopment lots or just some of the neighbors decided to start taking care of them, but I'm glad to see that someone else has taken the role on maintaining them and keeping the city a cleaner place. Our street sweeper that we ordered got delivered to the dealer, so as soon as the financial paperwork's done on that, we should be expecting delivery sometime next month, I'd imagine. Right now the old one is broke down, so it'd be nice to get the new one into, it's going to be nice to have it for winter cleanup at the end of the year here, and it'll make it a lot easier, and hopefully we don't have all the headaches and bills of the old one. Other than that, that's all for that. Huh? We're hiring. Yeah, we're hiring. Anybody interested that has Class B CDL, turn in your application and we'll take a look at it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Director of Community Development.
Mayor, council, everybody. Probably number one on the list in reference to the Community Cleanup Day. Much thanks to Johnny and his crew, as well as Ed King and his family for helping out. We distributed approximately 150 garbage recycling cans from the county recycling center. And I do want to take this opportunity right now to invite anybody that may not be able to get out to get a recycling can, either here at City Hall or at our next planned distribution date, which is October 22nd. More information will be forthcoming. But if you cannot get out, you are confined to a house, or you need assistance in getting a recycling container to your residence, please give us a call here at City Hall and ask for the mayor. And he or I, or both of us, will make sure that these recycling cans are distributed as needed. Again, we have to take care of the the only planet we got. And if we can get the city recycling more, it cuts down on garbage load, cuts down on garbage tonnages, and subsequently has a positive effect on our relationship with county hauling and the citizens of Uniontown. On to the Sheepskin Trail. There is an event scheduled, I believe, through the DCNR and Adam Mattis. They're coming to town on October 20th just to present the magnitude that the trail is going to have on the city of Uniontown, on Fayette County as a whole, and in its role connecting to the Greater Allegheny Passage. The comprehensive plan is in full swing. We were also recently on a call with the DCED in ensuring that the CDBG funds will be applied for and spent as needed to benefit the communities that need them most in the areas in which they are needed most. Other than that, Mayor, Council, excuse me, Mayor, Council. All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Director of Planning and Community Relations.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to go over cleanup day. Chief DeWitt mentioned. For status quo, we had 17 volunteers. We worked hard for 5 hours. Thank you to all the volunteers for your dedication to our city. Numbers in from county hauling, we had 3.02 in roll-offs of trash, garbage, other things. 11.25 in the rear loaders with a total of 14.27 tonnage. This went up from in the spring about 2 point something. So we picked up a little bit more this fall cleanup. We had 9 scheduled pickups, 35 problem areas cleaned up. Our event was registered with Pickup America and supporting the Great American Cleanup. Thank you to Lauren Stauffer from Neubauer Environmental and for the staff, rear loaders, roll-offs, and time spent coordinating. Sheila Shea in the Fayette County Recycling Convenience Center, Mayor Gerke and Chief Kahn for your donations, Dunkin' Donuts for sweet treats and coffee, and Hillary Griffith and Walgreens for donating water, Band-Aid, sunscreen to our volunteers. Eighth and Blue. Can I talk to you? This year we canceled because of weather. The planning committee, I just want to say it will be back bigger and better next year. I was honored to be a part of the planning committee, and thank you for that privilege. I was so looking forward to this year and forward to next year. An update on the U.S. flag retirement box. The box was reported full, and I collected approximately 80 flags. It was so full you couldn't. I meant to send you pictures. Those flags will properly be disposed of with dignity and respect with help from Troop Leader Chuck Holdren in the Uniontown St. Mary's Troop 620. An update on the replacement of the Allied Nation plaques at Marshall Plaza. Those are finally finished, completed. This project was made possible by Pennsylvania American Water and a private donor. Once again, Chuck Holdren and Troop 620 will be assisting. They volunteered to assist with the installation of those plaques on the flag posts. And just as a reminder, citywide trick or treat will take place Monday, October, I know, right? Will take place Monday, October 31st, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. If you would like to participate, please leave your porch light on. Thank you again, Mayor and Council, for approving this holiday tradition. It's been well received and everybody's excited to have it back. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'd be remiss not to say thank you, Laura, for your last 19, 20 months. The city shines much brighter since you were here. Thank you again. That ends the monthly reports. It's time for public comment. I'd like to just reiterate what I said earlier. I know everyone's passionate about what they say, and we wouldn't be here if you weren't passionate about our city. But again, please respect one another while they're speaking, and please conduct yourself in a gentlemanly type fashion. One person speaking at a time, everyone will get their turn to speak. Again, don't approach the podium unless I ask you to, but we will get everyone up here. Tim, maybe you could elaborate a little bit on public comment and what that really entails?
Yeah, so once again, it's public comment, so everybody will have their time to speak. Currently, it's 3 minutes based on the rules that council had approved previously. You'll have 3 minutes, you can speak, you can ask questions, you can comment on anything of public interest, just to avoid cutting in anybody's time and engaging in a constant back and forth dialogue. Council will reserve the right to answer any questions and respond to anything that's presented as part of public comment for each individual. And just to reiterate what the mayor had said, naturally we have to keep everything civil, keep everything orderly. If it does get uncivil, disorderly, people may be asked to excuse themselves from the meeting. But we do want to make sure, once again, that everybody has the opportunity to speak, that they have their time as well, and everything remains orderly. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Tim. Any public comment at this time? Yes, ma'am. Would you please go to the podium and state your name and your address, please?
Before I get there, I'm not familiar with city council meetings. The 3 minutes, is it pause while I wait for your answer? Or is that?
So that's what I was explaining. So in order to avoid having to cut into anybody's time, council won't answer any questions during public comment. Exactly.
So if I have 3 questions, I ask them, sit down, and then you'll answer?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know how that, just, my name is Mary Beth Homestead, and my question, one of my questions is for Mr. Gerke. Why did you vote no on why did you vote yes or no, I forget what it was, on the new Dollar General? I think you were the ones that wanted it. Oh, and second question is, Mr. Gerke, I forget how many years you've been mayor, 4, 6, I don't remember. But when you were first elected, I remember asking you at a meeting, there was a budget deficit at that time. I recall it was over 100,000, I think. And I asked you if you were going to take care of that or look into it, and I believe you told me you would. And I'm wondering if that's the same deficit that's carried over to now. And 3, just a question about, I'm sure you've all seen the documents or blueprints for the new Dollar General. I don't know what they're called, where the diagrams are, and there's a comment there that there's possible wetlands there, and it said the State Fish and Game Commission is aware of some type of wetlands where that property is. And there used to be a pond there when I was a kid, I think. And I just wonder if you even caught that little note that there's wetlands, and then it mentioned Fish and Boat Commission, which is very bizarre to have seen that part on these blueprints, and wondered what that even might mean. But I guess it doesn't matter now since it's not going to happen, but that caught my eye of all the questions, of all those papers, something about fish and boat or something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Answer that question.
Go ahead, answer.
So with respect to your question on the Fish and Boat Commission and the Dollar General, so as you pointed out, that's exactly correct. Since it's an R3, council had voted to disapprove, or not approve, I'm sorry, in accordance with the Planning Commission's recommendation not to permit that land development plan to move forward. That was a preliminary step, and so preliminary question. So that was the basis for that denial. If for whatever reason it would proceed to the next phase where you actually have to evaluate the merits of the plan itself, there are a whole list of items that need to be addressed. That's one of them. And under the state's law, if there's a wetlands, Fish and Game or Fish and Boat Commission has to be provided with the opportunity to comment as to whether or not there would be anything inconsistent with the proposed use based on the fact that there are wetlands that exist there. So that would be part of that second phase if, for whatever reason, that project would continue down that path.
The votes were for
Yeah.
Okay, in reference to your questions, the first question, the Dollar General question, I wanted to get a little more legal consultation about the people that came from Dollar General, and that's why I voted in opposition to that. The other question about the $100,000 deficit, I don't remember that occurring. Maybe you could elaborate on that, or...
Well, I just remember you were just taking
meeting office.
Okay.
It was like the first meeting you had, and it was brought up, or it was in writing, about a budget deficit. And it seemed to be quite significant. And I asked you, are you going to look into this or take care of this? And I believe you said yes.
I don't, and I'm sure that occurred, but I don't remember that.
And then now we
occurrence.
have this current budget deficit. And I just wondered if some of that was from this.
Mr. Billy, you're much more...
So I wasn't here on 2020 to talk about the $100,000 deficit.
Yeah, it was roughly.
But what had happened?
Surplus coming into 2020.
Yeah, so, and I'll look at that because the clerk is saying that we had a surplus. So I could look into that for you and get you an answer on that. Now, regarding, at the beginning of this year when I came in for this term, there was. And, I have tried to make steps this year and to make the corrections. And I believe it was from hires that we had last year. And you got to think too, just as I mentioned with the fire department being over budget, we get these grants and they help the city. But we also have to build in match money. So you start to build, we get these grants, you start to build this up. So really I think that, when I came in to this year, I really feel that maybe not being as tight with the spending, which we tried to do this year, but I really think that it was the creation of new positions last year that weren't budgeted. And that's really where when you get in, you also have to consider the salary and also benefits and everything else that gets associated with that. So you may have a salary that's $40,000-$45,000, but after you start weighing in with benefits and everything else that comes into that. So, yeah, I hope that helped you out a little bit.
I think I might have used the wrong term. Instead of deficit, I think I meant missing money. Isn't there a thing going on about missing money? Something happening about funds being missing in a...
So there,
Mrs. Hodge?
Yeah, so that happened 2020. Maybe we'll talk about. Just gonna talk about.
you can have a time frame.
Can we talk about how this came about?
Just generally. Specifics.
Are we able to talk about how this issue came about? The funds that caused the city to move into it. So there were red flags that were brought up at the end of 20, and it was a very small portion as we did the forensic audit. So taxpayers were coming to the county tax claim office with delinquent bills and cash paid receipts. So this is where this had all started. This had triggered an audit, a forensic audit, that was triggered from an outside agency. These gentlemen at the table, minus myself and Councilman Winfrey, you have to hand it to the guys. You have to commend them, everyone that was at the table at that time. And even more so now, of how it's all playing out, that it is even more so correct that forensic audit was done. That the audit report is available to everybody to read. There are certain people in the audience that received that report early. You have to really look into that. It's very detailed. It has exhibits that go along with it.
Well, and just to help from the time frame of it, those were funds that were missing from 2020 and 2021. The city didn't have a sense of the total of those funds or have an exact calculation until the audit was received earlier this year in 2022. Yeah.
And are we able to speak of the past weeks or?
I mean, and if it's helpful in connection with that as well. So the city, based on the audit results, City Council had approved filing a claim on the bond and a check was received. That claim was approved, a check was received to reimburse the city for those funds that were identified as having been missed. That was actually a check that was just received here within the last week, and that's been deposited into the city's accounts as well. That is true.
That is
100% true.
It's a fact. Absolutely 100% true.
Yes.
So did the bond company do it to get the check? Is that,
Do you want to see if she has public comment?
Ms. Taylor, did you want to make a public comment now?
I was going to give it to anybody else also in the last.
Okay, very good. Any other public comment this evening? Go ahead.
Can I say something first?
Go right ahead. Mark, hold on a minute.
I believe, ma'am, since I started in 2018, we've actually had a surplus from year to year to year. Is that correct, Kim?
Not coming into
This
Up
current.
until-
this year, but leading up to then, we've
Yes.
had a pretty significant surplus.
Okay.
That's all right.
My name is Mark Franks. I lived in the city all my life. With the cleanup of the city, with our garbage bills in 2020, every resident got this bill, paper with the bill. It says there will be 2 bulk collection events throughout the year, and will be scheduled and advertised a month in advance. Now, when your cleanup of the city, is that separate from this, or are you using the dumpsters that you used in cleanup in September here and in April? Is that separate from this cleanup?
Yes.
Because I called them yesterday, and I asked them, I said, you know, it's 2022, this is October, never received anything, never received anything in the mail. There's never been bulk cleanup coming up the alleys in my neighborhood, probably a majority of the neighborhoods in the city. And I just want to know. They told me call you, call the mayor, find out, because I asked the receptionist. She said there's nothing on the screen. But I said, you sent the letter out, and this is like we're 2 years in now, and I want to know, or is that a service that should be provided, since, through our garbage bill, because we're paying for it. All the city residents are paying for it, and that's a service that's not been provided.
That's fair.
And I mean, it would help your citywide cleanup too, because that way the volunteers wouldn't have to be cleaning up couches, chairs, mattresses, and they could do what citywide cleanup probably is meant to be, is let's beautify the city, pick up trash maybe, and then that way when people come into the city, they say, hey, the city looks great, maybe I want to stay here. As opposed to, let's scout out 15 properties, and clean up the couches and dumpsters that way, but the rest of the city's not getting cleaned up. This way, every city resident would have that opportunity to put a couch or a chair out. And that's what this is for, isn't it?
Yep, yes, sir.
And I'm sure you got one. I mean, all the city residents have got one. So, I mean, who do we hold accountable on that?
So,
Can I speak to that, Tim?
You want to raise your?
Can I speak to that?
Can you leave your information? I'm going to find out.
I was waiting till his time ran out.
Oh, yeah, I mean, all the city residents here.
Yeah, I'll let you know personally, then I'll find out.
But then what do we do? Would you, would you take to Facebook and say, hey, county hauling?
Excuse me.
So, yeah, leave your information.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, because your city cleanup, you can't expect the volunteers with couches and chairs.
I'd like to answer that for you. It is in the contract that there are 2 bulk cleanups, but the reason that is in the contract is because historically, I don't know, for the last 8-10 years, the city has had a citywide cleanup. Started probably in 2010. So every time we had a new contract, we needed dumpsters. When we had the citywide cleanup, It's changed a little bit over the years. It used to be in the separate neighborhoods. There became issues with leaving dumpsters in the neighborhoods because they would be set fire or whatever. But we needed those dumpsters from the garbage hauling company in order to facilitate the organized cleanup from the city.
My question is,
The reason that's in there,
it would be better for the garbage company with their workers to
Do the job themselves.
as opposed to this Kutech and this Griffith there and all the rest of the volunteers who are not, that's not their job. Their job is to beautify the city, not the couches and mattresses and chairs and toilets or whatever. And if you, I mean, it's right here in the contract.
that's why it's in the contract to assist the city. Like I talked to you the other day, that it was designed initially to clean up blight, go through the alleys, clean up garbage, clean up mattresses that are laying in the abandoned properties. And we always have taken a list of anyone who needed something picked up, but we needed the assistance from the garbage hauling company to either provide the dumpsters, the roll-offs, and as it has morphed into down at the compost site. So since we have a new company, they bring trucks with, I mean, they just bring garbage trucks instead of the dumpsters. But it was needing their equipment.
When we had advanced disposal, you put stuff out there, they took it. You put a chair out there, they took it. There wasn't questions.
Well, they still should be doing that.
Yeah, but
I mean, this company should still be doing that.
So, Mr. Franks, I
have a contract.
I have good luck when I call. You know, even when I called Advance and also called County Hauling and to inform them that you have a large pickup or large items, and then they'll, you know, I've never had an issue when I call first. And you're right, with Advanced, they did not refuse to take anything.
So then what you're saying, and we don't go by this? Or we should-
Well, I would like to, you know, I would like to look more into that, have the solicitor's opinion further before we get in on it. But I know I in the past, and here very recently, have had good luck when I reached out to the company to let them know that in advance that I was going to have a larger pickup than normal. I don't know if that's going to help you out or any way. I just know that that's what I've done in the past, and I've had good luck with that.
Say a point here, and I don't know.
It's 3 minutes, Rob.
Yeah. Of all the pickups you had, you're gonna tell me we've got 37 and 9.
9 scheduled.
9 scheduled, 37. And how many city residents do you have in the city of Uniontown? You have more than 45 or 46?
We have 9,000.
Well, I mean, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Franks.
Mark, I'm going to have the
So
solicitor respond to
I
this.
will look into the terms of the contract. I do know when we were putting that contract out to bid, one of the issues that was raised was the bulk pickup. And I have to look at the specific language in that because there was a major concern that that was going to dramatically increase the total cost for city residents. So we do have to look at that and the history of that contract provision. But thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Any other public comment this evening?
Oh, you got it, sir.
Mr. Holmes. Good evening.
Good evening. Robert Hall's my name. I live in the city. I've been a city resident for more years than most people are living. One thing I wanted to say, the city took down the property on the corner of South Mount Vernon and Knott Avenue. Big improvement. I've seen that building deteriorate for 50 years. The other thing was, you said that you received a check for the 100 and some thousand from the bonding company. Okay. I got here right at the meeting started. Was there a treasurer's report at all? Because usually, because I didn't see one. Oh, okay. Is the treasurer literally in her office, or has she not been around at all?
So once again, go ahead and ask the questions. And
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. The question is the treasurer in the office coming in? I mean, I don't know, I don't go in there, but is she still on the payroll if she's not coming to the meetings? Or I understand the legal obligations of what's going on, but the bonding company has paid. Okay. All right, well then, that's I'm glad to hear that, because that's 108,000 or 6,000 of my money that's there, okay? So, other than that, I wanted to compliment you on the property being torn down. I know that it's a struggle. I know at the intersection of Mount Vernon and Evergreen, there's a house directly across. If you don't stop it, you're coming from Evergreen, you don't stop, you run into it. Grass is about this high right now in the front yard. It's terrible there. But I know there's others in the city too. But that's all I wanted to say. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Holm. Any other public comment this evening?
There you go. Mr. Hall? Joe, you got it?
Or you can have one.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so the thing I wanted to, I'm sorry I'm loud, that thing's blowing my ears out. The thing I was talking about, the petition that needs to be left open at the city clerk's office to petition the city to remove the city clerk for incompetence and a lack of ability to do her job, and also to extend public commenting to 5 minutes instead of the 3 minutes. That is under 11 PACS subsection 11032. It states that a petition for submission of proposed ordinance shall be signed in the city clerk's office. The petition shall be retained in the city clerk's office at all times for a period of 15 days. Each signer shall add the signer's signature, the signer's address, make oath that before the city clerk that the signer is a qualified elector of the city and resides at the address given. So we need Uniontown city residents. If you live in North Union, South Union, sorry, this is a Uniontown issue, and we need voters of Uniontown to sign this petition. Now, the hours required by law to present this petition by the city clerk for those 15 business days is the city clerk shall keep the city clerk's office open at a minimum from 9 a.m. through 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, except holidays. You can enjoy those. And for the purpose of permitting electors to sign the petition. The city clerk shall not permit any individual to sign the petition after 7 p.m. on the last day for signing the petition. I'll leave the petition here, and I guess this is all that is required, what I've been advised. That's all I have for the comments. The question again, I don't think I got a answer that was acceptable about whether or not it's illegal to stand next to public property. And if it is illegal, what distance does it become legal to stand next to public property? I know the answers. I'm just seeing if you guys do, because the police department does not. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment this evening?
Don't start my time, please, man. Please, I just want to distribute this back out. Is that you, Masaki? You have the thing?
Yes, Taylor.
I just wondered who was doing it.
Yes, it's me, Taylor.
I have to
So
say,
I'm not starting until you.
Please.
I like your all-stars.
What did you say?
I like your all-stars.
That's because I got stuck.
I like those. Thank you.
Okay, hold on, Masaki.
All right, Taylor.
Thank you. Excuse me? Listen, I don't care. It's not that deep. So, for context, my name is Carmina Taylor. I am here as a statewide advocate, and I wanted to just exemplify to the City Council that I'm here because I've been fascinated by rural PA. I'm from the Southeast region, and I've gotten involved in rural PA because people have asked me to get involved. And I had a conversation. I've been watching these meetings forever, and every time I hear the police report, you see a litany of things that occur that they had to deal with. And so I'm going to send you guys the color copy of this document, but I just want the public to know that Uniontown's crime rate from 2000 to 2019, you see that thing standing up there at the top? The crime rate has significantly increased, the violent crimes in Uniontown. I also took data on offenses that have occurred. Are you doing a close-up? Oh, okay. So anyway, so I want the city the city council to really look at this data that I have here in terms of Uniontown, the crimes, the violent offenses, the thefts. All of these things, to me, as an advocate, present human service and social service issues at the core and the fabric of this community. And when you think about providing a comprehensive plan, you have to look at the human issues as the core. Every month you come and you present all these things, I want you to take a look at the statistic. This right here, this document here is all of it, and you can't see it because it's in black and white, but the rate of overdose deaths. We're in the same category as Philadelphia, Fayette County. And so the majority of this city, the county seat, Uniontown is the biggest city in this county. And the last piece of paper here is the breakdown of the incarceration rate in this county. And I'm assuming, again, because this is the most populous area in the city, that there's an overrepresentation of black and brown inmates in your county jail, which really relate to the city. And I want to bring that up because I keep coming back here and I keep hearing all the things that we should be doing, but I don't see a plan. And so as an advocate, I'm going to continue to engage with you because I have all of these documents that say that there's a problem with crime, with drugs, and we have to resolve it. So I thought this was a good start to present this data to you. Lastly, I have some information I will also email you related to juvenile incarceration, the juvenile justice issue here in Uniontown. And all of these things are very relevant for all of you guys to understand. I received emails from people in this community asking me that they're hopeful for the future and that they want to work with me. And I want to work with you. So I will be presenting at the commissioners meeting the 20th of this month in reference to my United We Stand initiative, the unity initiative that I have, and I really hope that by the time the 20th comes that you'll see that I have a plan to make this a better future for Uniontown, but we have to start with the facts. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. You want me to stay up here, Chief?
I mean, it's fine. I just have a question. The statistics you provided, I'm reviewing these.
Yes.
Just for instance, if we're using just our department, 2017, we switched over to a UCR system, which is an international, it's the federal, the Uniform Crime Reporting to the FBI. We got a new RMS, Council gave us a new RMS system, so it became accurate reporting in 2017. However, wholly inaccurate in this to a certain degree is, my question is this limited, this data is limited to the 2.2 square miles of the city of Uniontown, or the whole 15401 area code, which encompasses Uniontown as a zip code? Because I can tell you, realistically, without pulling the statistics, I can almost tell you affirmatively that I know we didn't have 20 rapes in 2018.
Okay.
I know we didn't have 225 robberies by UCR.
So what I'll do, Chief DeWitt, is I will provide the links to all the resources that I got, and I looked up, and I didn't do it by zip code, I did it by the city of Uniontown. Not south, not north, the city of Uniontown, because that's all I know. So I'll send you guys the links, and you can assess it, but there's something there. And I just think...
I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, that's the point.
I know we have statistics, I just think the statistics that were provided were wholly inaccurate, and I can get you some...
Wholly inaccurate?
Yeah, and these are...
So some of these things are from the state?
Yeah, in 2018, I know the city of Uniontown, our 2.2 square miles, did not have 225 robberies.
So you think... What's the most populous area in this county?
The most populous in this county would depend by municipality. Municipality size.
So will you work with me on this?
I'm more than
I'm probably asking you that we can work together because I feel I watch the county commissioner meetings and I see that they're paying money to different municipalities in the county for behavioral health services, for emotional health services, and every time you guys, not you, the chief cops before you, would come up with an average of 400 to 500 incidents a month in a town that is 30% of color and the largest municipality in this county. And I think you guys have an opportunity to be a model and how we can turn this around. So I come in peace, I'm strategic, and I'm focused. And I would like to work with the chief, you, and the county commissioner. All jokes aside, no, I'm serious, Mayor. I'm serious. And the reason why I showed you the letter from the president last time is because I have been designated as a national uniter. So I come in that spirit alone. And I think I'm of value and of work to do that, and I have people that will work with me, and I think we have an opportunity to turn this around. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Ms.
right,
Taylor.
thank you.
Any other public comment this evening?
Hey Tim, just one media question for you real quick. You guys have mentioned you got the bonding money back. Your treasurer is still bonded. Did she drop that bonding money?
So we don't have any information that the bond was currently dropped, so, or revoked or canceled. So as far as the city is aware, that bond remains in place.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other public comment this evening?
I forgot to mention for Chief Cron, I know he had it in his report. Bingo, social hall. Early bird special starts in a half hour.
Thanks, Moot.
Before we leave, just a reminder, we had a memo go out to all the departments yesterday. I've been beating this drum for the past couple months. It is budget time. So I'd like to start meeting with departments with the city clerk on the 10th, which is Monday. We can go ahead and get those in and get them processed, and because we need to have a vote in November, it has to be public for 30 days, and we'd like to get this adopted. So, I would, in advance, thank you for the cooperation.
Can you explain that? Because in my understanding, the third-class city code, the department heads are the city councilors, correct?
Councilman.
Councilmen?
So the under the third class city code, the council members are the department directors.
Right.
So
when you talk about meeting with Kim and him, who's he going to
those would be the folks that were up at the podium presenting the department reports.
The reports.
Yeah.
So you're going to go through all of them
Yes.
to do their budgets.
And what I would like to do is also have all the council members present in the respective departments. We cannot get together more than two, so that's and unfortunately, currently in the past, I know when we did this before, the treasurer was a part of this. So it makes it very difficult with the current situation that's going on, because we need the elected officials to be a part of it. And, we cannot, as council, have more than two people together at one time, so that makes it difficult. And it's something that I would love to entertain, and I would have loved to have been able to work together in that direction.
So Jared, so when the budgets were done in the past, I'm talking about prior to 22 or 21, so let's go 2020. Do you know if the budget process included the treasurer at that time or other?
So the only thing that I can actually speak on is whenever I was a part of council my first term.
How about that?
And at the end of 2017 going in, that was part of that. And it was also part of the audit committee as well. It's important to have that. And it's an unfortunate situation that it happened this year, because I would have loved to have that piece in play. It really makes it difficult, because we all up here want to do the best thing and the right thing that we feel it is for the city. And it's hard because we can't get all together. And, you need these people together. So it's like, even if the mayor wanted to be a part of it, I really can only meet with the mayor when we meet with the police department, unless he's stepping in for somebody else. And I would not advise that, because it's there. I want to meet with Councilman Vasaki. I want to meet with Councilman Winfrey. I want to meet with Councilman Shuhon, to all individually go over this with their direct, their department heads.
So think about what you're saying here, Jared. I don't mean to be crass for anybody here. I'm being very respectful. Think about what you're saying. So for the last cycle, Mr. Mark Gotti was head of finance and accounting,
Yeah,
right?
I can't speak on that though.
Right,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is you're asking for something that should be a practice of the city council.
That's something previously that was
So do I need
practiced
to
with us.
ask if those things happen through an open records request? If prior to Mr. Jared?
I don't think there wouldn't be records on that, like that would exist, that would be like a right to know request. I think that just becomes a question of what was the practice of the city. I personally don't know, because I was never involved in the process.
What's the question?
If the treasurer in previous budgets or audit committees or budget committees So it's not actually, let me rephrase this, it's not actually meeting with, but when we get together and we have the budget committees, that's something that we're not doing this year. It's something I'd like to get back into maybe next year. But, you know, everything that's going on, it's been crazy. And after this all clears up, I think that we'll, as a city, we can start getting back to what I would feel would be a better way to do the budget and stuff like
To
that.
answer the question, yes.
Yeah.
Answer the question, yeah. The treasurer was given the same memo that everyone else was. She participated in her department by providing her budget figures. That's how it was done.
So from 2020, 21, she did participate in the budget process
Yes, she did.
with you?
She gave me her budget figures, yes, she did.
Now, is that something, Tim, that could be put in writing, a policy and procedure over the budget cycle? The public should know how things function, and I feel like with Jared trying to take on this new approach or approach that's transparent, I think you talked about it always being transparent, and I've been engaging with your residents, and they don't know how you guys function. So, solicitor, is it possible to put the process of the budget cycle in writing for the community to understand?
So it's possible to put a budget process into a formal procedure. You do have to weigh out the formality and the restrictions that would come in having an overly formal procedure versus just a general guideline. Different third-class cities do it very differently. I work with 3 different ones, and they all do it differently. But you could, have like it's done in the past, where each department, there's a meeting with each department separately, and they each submit their budget requests. Then that's reviewed by the Director of Accounts and Finance, provided to the other council members for their input, and then it's ultimately results in the initial proposed budget and then the final budget at the end of the process. I think generally I'm hearing that that's what the city's general procedure has been.
But is it written?
I don't think that that's a written policy beyond.
I don't think, that's not something that was actually set in stone. That was a process that would be used. I mean, why wouldn't you want the treasurer involved?
Absolutely, but what I'm saying, you, Jerry, since you're trying to relieve, do you think that you would consider putting the process, it could just be timelines, who you need, from nuts and bolts, just guidelines to put in writing so the public can understand what the budget is. So she doesn't come up here and say that there's a deficit versus money withdrawn, or he doesn't come and ask, well, where's the treasurer? Where's the treasurer? You know what I'm saying?
So I think,
encouraging.
and to answer that, I think that it all depends on actually who the individual is that sits in that spot.
Right.
It's really up to that individual. I mean, you would think that that's the way you would want to run it, but,
Right.
And I'm not saying that I'm perfect either, or I have the right answer.
Nobody.
I mean, I really think that, but I really do think that if you move forward with the best foot, the right foot, proverbial right foot first. I think that's something that, in that process, and that's why I try to really talk a lot so that people can understand, because it's not just about the people that are coming to the meetings, it's everybody that's watching digitally too as well, it's live. It's very important that they understand, or at least I make a strong attempt to do that. And I can't speak on anybody else that has it. There were many people before me that had the position. I tried to just run it. I want to know, and that's how I try to run it, because I know people want to know as well. But I like that idea. I mean, definitely look at trying to.
I'll follow up with you in the email, just
We can do that. Thank you.
Does the treasurer still have access to funds?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Does the treasurer still have access to funds?
So the answer would be yes, but the city did implement a procedure, I believe it was Resolution 80, to safeguard those funds. And so now we're in a process to make sure that that procedure is being followed.
For clarification, if I might. I don't think I got an answer to the question. Is the treasurer actually working?
So yes, so she remains the city's elected treasurer, and she's still fulfilling.
Is she working?
So yes, she is still in that office. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
No, it's a good question. It's fair.
Okay, well, like I said, I know she's elected.
That's all I have, Ms. Marshall.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Uniontown, the council adjourned to meet Thursday, November 3rd, 2022 at 5 p.m. Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey?
Yes.
Mr. Shuhon?
Yes.
Mayor Gurke?
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Get that out, and we started public comments. Too fast. And we're all right.
Hillary.